going on, guys?
It's going.
Everybody doing all right?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Good deal. I'm sure you'll go first, so go ahead.
How do you feel about your group coming out the first game there?
I think they played well. There were still things we had to clean up, technique issues, missed assignment here or there, but for the most part, I thought we controlled them up front, and I thought the guys played really hard, which is all you can ask for.
Is there a physicality aspect that you don't really know about until you see them go up against another team instead of your own offense?
Well, only the guys who haven't really been here.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to get from KG. I know what I'm going to get from Kamari. I know what I'm going to get from Emmett. And it's not necessarily just going against our guys, but just because you've been under the lights with those guys before. So it was fun to watch those new guys and see how they handled the environment, which was a tough environment. And I thought we did pretty well.
You weren't lying about rolling deep with how many guys you're going to put in the game there. I think Copeland and Bell had the most snaps at 35 out of 56. Do you feel like that really showed up at the end, that those guys were fresh?
Well, that was a major sticking point for us last year. When you have these kind of season we did, you evaluate everything. And maybe at the end of the game last year, there was a guy who was a little fresher, could have made a play that made a difference. So I'm going to continue to roll those guys. I believe in that. I believe you can play less snaps, play as hard as you can. You can even be more productive than if you were out there if you were tired. So I like our group. I think I'm going to get Nash a little bit more involved. He's had a great week of practice, so just continue to roll those guys and have a good, healthy rotation, keep tracks, and nobody's playing too much.
Your leaders on the D-line, Kamari, KG, those guys, they got a taste for what Pavia and that offense can do last year. Does that help the fact that there's familiarity and that you can go into this?
It's just the next opponent. We're not looking at anything last year. Last year was last year. We're a different team. They're a different team. We have a different D-line in our room. They got a different O-line. Pavia's back. He's a good player. He's probably one of the most competitive guys in the country. And we got to play really well to stop the kid.
And they probably didn't show much against Charleston Southern. What do you tell your guys about expecting the unexpected from them and what things that
they got good coaches there, and they're going to try to outnumber you, and they're going to run their stuff. It's the same stuff they ran against this game 2 last year. They were running game 8 last year, and they ran against Charleston Southern. So they're going to do what they do. They believe in it. And they're good at it, and we got to be good enough to stop them.
What stood out to you about Emmett and some of the plays he made on Sunday?
Emmett had a good game. I know he had the big play for the safety, and he had the other half sack with C. Wood. And to be honest with you, I wish he could have found a way to strip the ball right there. We're trying to make sure that we're attacking the ball, and he had a couple plays that he'd like to have back. But that's everybody. That's every player on the field is gonna be like that. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, and you just hope you got more good plays than the guy you're going against. But he played really well, especially for a freshman.
I know there was different looks that you gave on the front that perhaps confused them a little bit. It didn't seem like there was confusion on the safety. It was just 4 guys met in the middle.
Yeah.
How much can that help to be able to get to a quarterback with just 4 like that?
Well, anytime you can generate pass rush for 4 and keep 7 in coverage, you're going to be a better defense, and you're going to be a better third down defense. That's what I think everyone strives for. But the big emphasis all last week was keeping that guy in the pocket, making him be a quarterback and not allowing him to get on edges and make plays, extend the play, and have our guys covering for more than 6 seconds, because that's where he really gets dangerous. And he's good at it. And on that play, we did a nice job with our pass rush lanes, and we got the sack.
Olajuwon was a guy we didn't talk too much about arriving here after spring like that. He obviously had the big play. What have you seen out of him since he's gotten here?
The guy's just consistent. He loves ball. He's smart. He's got really good hands. He was well coached at his previous school, and he's coming here and picked up everything we've been doing, and he's run with it. He's a guy right now off the first game and off of camp. I got complete trust in.
He's a pretty big guy. Were you looking for bigger guys at that end spot?
Nah, once again, I'm not a cookie cutter guy. If you can play, you can play. You look at how big Kamari is. You look at Emmett. You look at James Duncombe. You can look at El Haj. I look for a skill set and a mindset, and that's what I like to recruit to.
It seems like James Jeanette has really come on, played pretty well. What have you seen from him?
James has. Last year he was kind of pigeonholed to special teams. He had a problem keeping some weight on last year, and I think he's done a nice job. He knows this is his last shot, and he's prepared like it. He's played like it, and he's been steady Eddie since back before winter workouts in spring. So I'm really happy for him and excited to watch him play again this Saturday.
How did Kamari stand out to you?
He just flashes the same way he stood out to you. He's very disruptive. As far as his penetration, his get off, and he's strong. He's aggressive. He's violent. He's what you want in a D lineman. If you had a cookie cutter D lineman for me, it would be the guy who squats 800 pounds, benches 600, and runs 4.7. That'd be perfect.
Where are you challenging this group to improve after a solid week one?
Just consistency, and because you make the most improvement between week 1 and 2. So I wanted to see us come out and do better fundamentally. Even some of the plays we made were, footwork could have been better, hand placement could have been better, pad level could have been better, the finish could have been better. We talked about not tackling that quarterback high. Kamari missed the sack because he tried to get him high, and we had a blitz where someone didn't do their job, and it should have been another sack. I mean, when you watch the film, I thought we could have had a couple more sacks out there, and so just once again, just being consistent and making sure you're doing your job first, and then the results will come.
You brought this up in the spring about how player-led teams are usually the best teams, and Jaden told us about the player-only meeting after Monday's practice. Does that show the sign of where this team is, about how strong the leadership is and how unified it is?
Well, the hardest thing in the world is to, correct or talk to a peer, and whether it's a couple of 50-year-olds like us coaches, it's hard for me to tell a coach, and it's hard sometimes for kids to talk to kids, and the teams that can do that have a great chance of winning every Saturday. You look through our history here at Virginia Tech, there's been teams that had rough starts and come through it and won championships. So, and they've been doing that since the spring and since the winter. That was not the first player-only meeting, and that's what Cheat always says. You shouldn't have player-only meetings just when it's bad. That stuff's got to start when it's still good, and they've been having those all along. So that was not a surprise to me or the staff.
Is there any change in mindset that you're preaching to the guys going into week 2?
No. Just the mindset's always the same. We got to stop the run, and it's a different mindset because it's a different team. What we need to do to slow down South Carolina is probably a little bit different than what we need to do to slow down, Vanderbilt. It's and that's the great thing about Sam's system. It's easily adaptable, and how we can attack people can change from week to week depending on what they do on offense.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
Yep.